what we had discussed in our last lecture. So we were discussing about that how who can be, you can say, we are discussing about the personality of a Buddha. That what are the special attributes of the Buddha through who Buddha became very much popular among the common masses in the 6th century BC. Why he became much popular in Magadha, and after his Parinibban, how his teachings became more popular through the 9 emissaries at the time of the Third Buddhist Council sent by King Asoka, and how it became much more popular among the Southeast Asian country. So we are discussing in our last 2, 3 lectures about the personality of a Buddha, and we had discussed about that what are the 9 main, you can say, names through which Buddha is known by other names like Bhagava, Arha, Samba, Sambuddho, Vichacharan, Sampanno, Sugato, Lokbuddhi, Purusha Dhamma Sarathi, and Bhagava. So these are the 9 epithets, 9 attributes through Buddha is also known through other names also. And what are the other qualities in his teachings of the Buddha so that he became more popular among the common people? So we are discussing in our last class. And today we are going to discuss, and in the last we had also discussed by giving the example of the that how in Alagapadum Sutta, Buddha says that Dvame Bhikkhame Desemi Dukkham Cha, Dukh Nirodham Cha. And again, Buddha say this that Kulupamam Bhikkhave Desemi Nitharanai Na Bini Bandhai. That I teach or preach the Dhamma only for crossing from one bank of the river to the another bank of the river, not getting tied with the boat, but be free from the state of the suffering, or you can say getting a state of eternal bliss. So we had discussed with the help of Alagadupama Sutta, as well as in such a Sanyutta also we had discussed about that. So now we are going to discuss the page number 3rd of our reading materials. If you go through the reading material, then you will find that how in the reading material, 3rd page, Buddha is discussing about the, you can say, rituals of rites and rituals. And Buddha was not believing in the rites and rituals. And he was deadly against of the rites and rituals. And he was saying that those who are engrossed in the rites and rituals, they are not going to get a state of eternal bliss. But in that way, he is saying that a person must be in a state of getting a state of eternal bliss. And in that way, he is saying that a person must be knowing about all these, you can say, rites and rituals. And we are quite aware that during the later Vedic period, how people were engrossed with the rites and rituals, and they were saying that animal sacrifices were going on. And some of the contemporary thinkers at the time of the 6th century BC, people were also saying that how that there is no any sin in killing a living being, or there is no any sin by giving any yagya or oblation at the bank of the river, or taking a bath in the, you can say. And some of the thinkers were in favor of fate or luck, and they were known as Niyativad. So teachers, some of the contemporary teachers were in favor of that whatever you wish you do, you perform your duty, and there is no sin or there is no any merit by giving performing the moral duties also. So in that way, we have seen in some of the suttas, like Samaya Phala Sutta and others, that how Buddha discourages the Brahminical sacrifices in the name of animal slaughters and other things. And in that, in Dikh there is a sutta which is known as Kutadanta Sutta. And there is a Brahman who is known as, you can say, Kutadanta. And Kutadanta is very much famous in the sense of giving social aspects of the teachings of the Buddha. And here Buddha discusses about the royal duties of a king also, that how a king has to perform his duty related with the his people of the society. So in Kutadanta Sutta also we see that how a person can conduct his sacrifice. And Buddha had delivered you can series of discourses on the, you can say, Dan, Seal, Chanti, Briya, Pragya. There are six paramitas mainly, but in Jatakas we are having 10 types of paramitas. So mainly the six paramitas, that is the Dan, generosity, seal, that is the morality, Shanti, perseverance, Virya, energy, Pragya, wisdom. So these Dan, Sila, Shanti, Virya, Dhyan, and Pragya. Dhyan is the concentrations. So these six are the main, you can say, the teachings through which Buddha has discouraged the animal slaughter, or you can say sacrifice. And he says that a person must do work related with the generosity, morality, heaven's danger, corruptions of sense desires, that is the indriya janita, sukha siksha, and the, you can say, klesas, which are coming out of our sense desires. So these are some of the things which have been discussed in the Kutadanta Sutta. Again, in the next, we are coming to that how Buddha has deliberately saying about the social order of at the time of the 6th century BC. And as we know, and I have also discussed earlier in the social dimensions of Buddhism, that Buddha says that all persons are equal. Chattaro banna samsamahunti. All are equal. No one is superior. No one is inferior. And Buddha also says that one whosoever says that one is superior or one is inferior, he is associated with the false views. Papakam ditti gatam. So Buddha says that one whosoever does the immoral, you can say, things related with that, he immoral, you can say, thoughts related with the social distinction, that one is superior and one is inferior. And Buddha says the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas, and Sudras all are equal. No one is inferior or no one is superior. Not by caste a person is superior, not by caste a person is inferior. One is superior because of his actions, one is inferior because of his illness. In that way, he has put a social order also, and but in place of the Chaturvarna, the four, you can say, Varna system, he gave the four stratas of our thoughts, that is the Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasak, and Upasika. These were the four you can say, stratifications of all human beings, which have been discussed in our Pali text also. So Buddha says that no one is inferior, no one is, you can say, superior. So in place of, and we are also quite aware that after the passing of the Buddha, Mahaparinibbana, how Upali was, who was barber by caste, and he became champion of Vinay, and he was asked to compile the teachings of the Buddha related to the rules and regulations for monks and nuns as depicted in the Parajika and Pachetya. So he compiled the whole Vinay Pitaka. So we are quite aware that Buddha was not making any distinction among the caste also. And by making any, you can say, inferior persons, and we are also having the examples of Ambapali, that how Ambapali, who was a courtesan by his by her profession, but she was also allowed to join the Sangha, and we later on we know that she became a nun also, and she has spoken in great reverence to the Buddha in Ambapali theory, and which are depicted, and how Ambapali theory has expressed that all things are subject to impermanence, and she has discussed that how during the young age she was very beautiful, and now she has become old, and all our my beauty has been, you can say, gone away. So she has realized the teachings related with the three lakshanas, that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. So we see that how the teachings of the Buddha are available related with no distinction among the Varnas system in the verse, and in that way he had maintained the social order at the time of 6th century BC also. Again, we see that he says that not by the caste, not by any, you can say, taking birth in the law, or a person cannot become superior or inferior. And we have seen in Vinay also that how Pali and others have given. And there was one another quality of the Buddha, that he he had uplifted the low persons also. Low persons means those who were the he raised the status of the scavengers, or the low people who have taken birth also. And we have seen also in the case of that how a killer and the jail inmates, how the persons who were living in the prison, after releasing from the prison, how they were also allowed to join the Sangha also. So in that way, we have seen that how he has raised the status of the low people, namely scavengers, chandalas, pukusa. There were so many, you can say, low people who were living, and by allowing them in the Sangha, or by raising the status of their living standard, he gave a social order at that time also. And we are also aware through his teachings that Buddha also raised the status of women also. and he says that women are having same intellect or the wisdom what the men have, and women can also get a state of Buddhahood, and they can become Buddha also. And sorry, they can become Arhat. They can go through the path of Sotapatti, Sagdagami, Anagami, and Arhat. They can become Arhat. And through the theories, if you go through the some of the theories, you will find that how Buddha has praised some of the intellect of our nuns. And Buddha says that some of the theories like Patachara, Mahakacharna, and others also, they are more intelligent than the monks, male monks or bhikkhus also. And he sometimes Buddha has praised the intellect of theories also, or nuns also. So in that way, Buddha did not make any distinction, and he raised the status of the low people also, namely Chandalas, Pukusa, scavengers, those were road sweepers like that, and he has made, you can say. So again, there was one criminal, Anguli Mal. If you hear that how Angulimal, how Buddha has a dialogue with Angulimal, and lastly Angulimal became disciple of the Buddha, and he was also allowed to join the Sangha also. So we have seen that how the criminals, scavengers, low people, they were allowed to join the Sangha, and in that way, he has he the Buddha had raised the social status of the low people, and in that way, he had maintained the social order at the time of the 6th century BC. Again, Buddha says in the next that um, Buddha also discourages some of the flattery words in praise of Buddha himself or in other people also. Buddha was not in favor of criticizing anyone or in making praise of anyone. So these are some of the qualities of the Buddha, that how Buddha was deadly against of the praise of any persons or criticizing any person. Even we are having a reference that Upali, first of all, he was a disciple of Lord Mahavira. And from Mahavira, Niganthanath Putta, he came to the Buddhist Sangha to join the Buddhist Sangha, and he became a disciple of the Buddhist Sangha. But Buddha did not allow him to criticize Lord Mahavira, and Buddha was having great respect to Lord Mahavir also, and Lord Mahavir who was 8 years older than our the blessed our Buddha Siddhartha Gautam, and in Sangiti Sutta also we see that after passing away of Nikanthanath Putta Lord Mahavir, there was a great debate as well as you can say conflict among the followers of the Lord Mahavir. And then Buddha also says that, and the disciples of the Buddha also decided that later on, after the passing away of Lord Buddha, there should not be any conflict among the followers of the Buddha, so that a council or congregation of the teachings of the Buddha must be held. So in Sangiti Sutta, which is one of the 34 suttas of Dekha Nikaya, we find all these descriptions. Again, in the first sutta, Brahma Jahala Sutta, Buddha says about there were Supiya Nam Paribrajaka. So Supiya named Paribrajaka, ascetic one, he was criticizing the Buddha also, and he was making praise of someone. So in Brahmachala Sutta, we are having that how Buddha discourages that no one is allowed to criticize anyone, and everyone has the right to do. And in that way, Buddha was also considered as a teacher of inclusive thoughts also. And he says that if the teachings of the Buddha are available in other teachings also, you can follow it. Otherwise, there is no need of criticizing other thoughts or views also. So, in that way, he was not in favor of making praise of anyone or giving flattery words in praise of anyone or in criticizing anyone. So, he was not in favor of that. Again, this mm, next point we are going to discuss that there was one special quality of the Buddha also, that whenever Buddha and his Sangha was invited for the meal or the lunch or midday deal, midday you can say meal, then after the meal, Buddha and his followers, or you can say the Sangha members, the venerable monks, used to give the teachings of the Buddha to the common mass. And in Hindu tradition also, you will find that if any recluse approaches to the house of any person in the village, after having lunch, he also give preaches some of the things related with the Ram Katha or any Hitopadesh or any, you can say, the well teachings of any thought, you can say. So still in Buddhism also, we find that how Buddha, after having taken a meal from any, you can say, family or any person, even if you remember that Pali, who was the courtesan of Baisali, she invites the Sangha as well as the Buddha for the meal also. And after taking meal, Buddha preaches to the all courtesans there. And then after hearing the teachings of the Buddha, Ambapali decided to join the Sangha. So this is the thing that how after taking meal, the Buddha was giving sermons to the common people, as well as if Buddhi is not available, then his Sangha members used to give the teachings or sermons in absence of Buddha also. Again, Buddha, next point we are saying that Buddha was saying that after my death or demise, Mahapandit Ban, there will be no any teacher. But my teachings will be your teachers. Dham and Binay will be your teachers and the guide. And Buddha did not appoint any teacher after his demise. And Buddha says that if you see that the things are suitable in the Dhamma and Vinaya, then you can accept it as a teachings of the Buddha. Otherwise, you can not accept the teachings of others, you can say. So in that way, we are saying that how Buddha was in favor of, and Buddha did not appoint any person as his successor also. So same thing we are also having in Guru Nanak, in Sikh religion also. In Sikh religion also, we find that Guru Nanak did not appoint any teacher after his, and he says that whatever the Guru Granth Sahib, that the Guru Granth, the teachings which are available in the Guru Granth, that will be your teacher. In the same way, Buddha also says, already Buddha said Guru Nanak is the later stage. So I am just giving you a comparison that how Buddha was very dynamic at 6th century BC, in the 6th century BC, and he had already said that after my Mahapadpan, there will be no any person who will be successor, and but my Dham and Vinay will be your teacher or Sattha. So in that way, this is the one of the great quality of the Buddha, and in that way, the Sangha provided with a strong and comprehensive constitution in the form of Patimukha rules. And we have seen that how in the Vinaya Pitaka, Buddha has framed the 227 rules for the nuns and 311 rules for the nuns. All these rules and regulations for the monks and nuns, they are available in the text Patimukha. Patimukh is the name of the book, which is also known as a code of conduct for the monks and nuns, or which discusses the rules and regulations for the monks and nuns. And this is of two types, Bhikkhu Patimukh and Bhikkhuni Patimukh. Patimukh is the code of conduct, and it is made up of two words, Pati and Mukha. In Sanskrit, it is called as Prakti Moksha, but in Pali, it is called as Pati and Mukha. Pati iti rakhati, Mukha iti mukhayati apaikehi akuslehi dhamme. That Patimukh is that which keeps and preserves, and it protects from the immoral dhammas, or you can say immoral things. That is called as Patimukh. Patimukh is the name of a text which discusses the code of conduct related with the monks and nuns, and which are divided into two parts. That is the Bhikkhu Patimukha and Bhikkhuni Patimukha. Under the Bhikkhu Patimukha, there are 227 rules, and under the Bhikkhuni Patimukha, there are 311 rules. Under the Bhikkhu Patimukha, there are 8 headings, starting from the Parajika, Sanghati Sesa, Anita Dhamma, Nisangya Pachitya, Pachitya, Adhikaran Samatha, Sekhya Dhamma. There are 8 headings, but there is no Anita Dhamma for the Bhikkhunis. Bhikkhuni Patimukha, there are 311 rules, but there is no Anita Dhamma. Anita Dhamma is meant for only for the monks. And these two rules for the Anita Dhamma, they were prescribed with the suggestion of Visakha Migar Mata by the Buddha. Buddha had framed these two rules on the suggestion of Visakha, who was the, you can say, great nun, who was the Migar Mata, the mother of the Migar. So that is why it is called as Visakha Migar Mata. So in that way, it is called as you can say, um, a strong, you can say, administrative, and the Sangha was having the 227 rules for the monks and 311 rules for the nuns. So in that way, a Sangha was having a strong administrative setup, and these 227 rules for the monks and 311 rules for the nuns, they were recited on every Purnima, Chatudasi or Panarasi, in as a, you can say, recitation of the Patimukha rules in the Sangha, and all the monks and nuns who were attending this Patimukha, they were confessing their rules and regulations where they have made any offense or they have committed any, you can say, offense, and on the basis of the offense, committing the offense, the punishment was given by the Sangha. So this was the administrative setup of the our Sangha. So tolerant is next point. Tolerant is spirit shown to the convert as seen in the Pali. Also, Buddha advised the former disciple Mahavir to continue to give support to his teacher after his conversion. So we had discussed this point that how Upali, who was the previous disciple of Lord Mahavir, and later on he joined the Buddhist Sangha, but again the former disciple, you can say, the Upali was asked to continue the, you can say, follow the teachings of the Lord Mahavir also. So in that way, we are having these sins. So let us finish here, and the remaining point we'll discuss in the our next class. If you have any questions, we can discuss some of the things. We are having 5 to 10 minutes for the discussions. If you have any question or doubt related with our questions which were asked in the last year or today's lecture, you can ask. Anyone? Sayuri?
Professor, thanks for teaching. I gonna read through the old papers again.
Okay, you go through the last year questions also and try to understand that how we have uh, made interactions in our previous classes and how the each topic we have discussed, and again we can discuss those points later on also when we will finish our this Buddhist culture lecture. Then again we can continue to discuss some of the naughty problems related with our syllabus as well as the questions also.